your money, Brooke. Don't you think there's better ways to make money? Spider-Man? What the hell?
Spider-Man! Thanks for saving me, but what happened to you?
Well, these last few months have been a little rough in my life. My girlfriend left me. I got fired from my job. Tom Holland took my position, that bastard. A lot of bad stuff, man. A lot of bad stuff.
Well, that's rough, buddy. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Uncle Ben, you were right. I should have had better responsibility.
Spider-Man! Pretty much everyone around the world knows who Spider-Man is. Who hasn't heard of him? He's everywhere. He's an American staple next to baseball and bad drivers or something like that. Back when I was an annoying little bastard, my first exposure to Spider-Man was the 90s cartoon. And when I heard that there was a Spider-Man movie coming out, I was excited to see one of my favorite superheroes scare the shit out of me with the loud as hell speakers in the movie theaters. It was great. I held my ears during X2. No joke, I literally just held my ears the whole time and I really need to take a piss afterwards. I loved this movie growing up, and I wanted to see how well it holds up today. But before we get into the film, I wanted to give a history lesson. So sit your ass down and make sure you went to the bathroom because I locked the doors until we're done. So yeah, also don't bother calling the police, there's no service. And with that, let's begin this wild journey. In 1939, a man known as Stan Lee joined as an assistant to the comic book publisher Timely Comics. Timely Comics was known for creating the World War II influenced superhero Captain America, and over time would evolve into a new company in the 1960s now widely known as Marvel Comics. In the late 1950s, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were tasked with creating several new superheroes to compete in the comic book market with the new surge of superhero comics. Lee and Kirby created the first Marvel superheroes, the Fantastic Four. Marvel's first family was an overnight success, as Lee and Kirby would go on to create bigger comic book icons such as the Invincible Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk, the Uncanny X-Men, and Marvel's most successful and possibly most relatable superhero, the Amazing Spider-Man. This is so fucking stupid. With the ever-increasing popularity of superheroes, their growth sprouted into various other forms of entertainment. In 1978, one film would launch the potential for superheroes to become a reality on the silver screen. The film would be known as Superman. Now that the Man of Steel has been brought to the silver screen, it gave more superheroes the chance to be adapted into a big-budget blockbuster. Sometime in the late 80s, an up-and-coming filmmaker named Sam Raimi wanted to make a superhero film and tried to gain the rights to The Shadow and Batman. Raimi could not acquire all the rights to these characters, mainly due to the rights holders being unsettled by the director's previous works. So Raimi created his own superhero based around shadowy crime fighters known as Darkman. Darkman was a success, and further established Raimi's career in filmmaking. A year before Darkman was released, a Batman film directed by Tim Burton was released that re-established Batman as a darker and more mature superhero, as opposed to his more campy and lighthearted image mostly associated with the 60s TV series. This gave the opportunity for superhero movies to tell more mature stories that comic books have slowly gravitated towards for years prior, showing that being a superhero can have real-world consequences. Throughout the 80s and 90s, there have been multiple attempts at a Spider-Man movie, but it wasn't until 1999 when Sony Pictures finally got the project off the ground, with Sam Raimi attached to direct, finally achieving his dream of directing a superhero film based on a comic book character. Prior to the 2002 release of Spider-Man, the films Blade, released in 1998, and X-Men, released in 2000, generated more demand for films based on Marvel Comics properties. This bode well for Spider-Man, as the release of the film gained over $800 million worldwide, which was the highest revenue for a superhero film ever generated at that time, and launched the future of all superhero films into the stratosphere. In other words, this spandex-wearing teen was a big fucking deal. For the two of you who don't know who Peter Parker is, he's a bitch. Well, that's what people treat him like at school, and there are total dicks to him in this bus scene.
So lame, Parker.
Why do people treat him like he has a nine-tailed fox inside of him? At least this hot girl named Mary Jane, that Peter's into, by the way, is nice to him, but her boyfriend is a stereotypical dickwad.
Leave him alone.
Or what?
Or his father will fire your father. What's Daddy gonna do?
Assuming.
Anyways, Peter's class is on a field trip to the genetics lab where they learn about snails. Oh, I'm just with you. It's goddamn spiders. It's in the title, motherfucker. Here we are introduced to Peter's friend Harry, as he is dropped off by his dad and some of a scientist, Norman Osborn. And if you didn't know, they really don't have a good relationship.
Dad, these are public school kids. I'm not showing up for the field trip and the rolls.
What, you want me to trade in my car for a Jetta just because you flunked out of every private school I ever sent you to?
It wasn't for me.
Of course it was.
As Peter is taking pictures for the school paper, which makes him cursed apparently, he's bitten by a spider that got loose from its container. Uh-oh, I hope the spider isn't poisonous. I guess Peter should go back to his house where he lives with his aunt and uncle. Because in order to be a successful superhero, you need dead parents. Just look at these guys. So successful. So Peter goes to lie down in his bed and
combines the genetic information from all three spiders into these 15 genetically designed super spiders.
Oh, that sucks.
wow, that movie was short. Wonder why there's sequels. Calm down, okay? That was actually a joke, if you couldn't tell. I mean, look at fucking Jerry over there. He's crying like a little bitch. Peter wakes up and discovers that something has changed.
You better this morning, any change?
Change? Yeah. Big change.
As Peter goes to school, he finds out he has superpowers. Wow, I wonder where he got that from. And it's got the works. Webs, heightened senses, super strength, the ability to kick your crush's boyfriend's ass. Pretty shocked by this, he leaves school and discovers the ability to be a parkour master. He also learns that he can use his webs as grappling hooks. In the next scene, Peter wants money to buy a car because Flash Thompson has a car, and his shallow brain thinks that MJ would make his Peter shoot webs. So he finds an ad for a wrestling match in the newspaper to win money. I mean, there's other ways you can make money, but he makes a pretty scrappy costume and goes to a wrestling match where the legend himself, Bruce Campbell, gives him a name nobody would ever think of because he's Bruce Campbell.
The terrifying, the deadly, the amazing Spider-Man!
Oh, I love you, Bruce. Please just notice me, senpai. Oh, God. Oh, Bruce, I love you. Spider-Man is given very nice compliments by these lovely ladies.
Bonesaw's gonna eat you up and spit you out, little man. I hope you brought your mommy with you. We're gonna break you someone to go crying.
And now, so the cage is dropped. Uh-oh.
Hey, listen. It's some kind of mistake. I didn't sign up for a cage match.
And like a cornered animal, Peter kills Bonesaw.
That motherfucker's dead!
Randy Savage got oofed too early, and Peter only gets a quarter of the money he earned.
I need that money.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Wow, what an asshole. I mean, come on, Peter's a nice guy. He's just trying to make money. Uh-oh, here's a bad man coming to rob the money man. And Peter just lets him go.
He's got my money!
Thanks.
Call the cops! You could have taken that guy apart. Now he's going to get away with my money.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Oh no. Is Peter also a bad man?
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, he would be if he didn't find Uncle Ben dying on the street.
Stay back!
Uncle! Uncle Ben?
Peter.
Over here, Uncle Ben.
Peter.
Peter tracks down the robber like another certain superhero I know, and
Fatality.
holy shit, he just lets him die like that? I mean, Peter felt nothing about letting a guy fall out a window. This is one problem I have with this scene, because it would be a great development for Peter to be shocked that he didn't save the man, and this would have made him learn a valuable lesson, especially what Uncle Ben said to him earlier.
Peter, these are the years when a man changes into the man he's going to become the rest of his life. Just be careful who you change into. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Stop lecturing me, please.
I don't mean to lecture and I don't mean to preach. And I know I'm not your father.
Then stop pretending to be.
Right.
But I guess Peter decides that off screen.
With great power comes great responsibility.
No. And becomes your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. While Peter gets a job at the Daily Bugle to sell bomb-ass pictures of that tight spider ass, J. Jonah Jameson, the boss of the Daily Bugle, is a huge a**hole about it.
They're crap. 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 Mega crap. I'll give you $200 for all of them.
That seems a little low.
Take them somewhere else then.
But I will forgive him because J.K. Simmons is probably the best part of these movies.
That headline? Spider-Man, hero or menace? Exclusive Daily Bugle photos.
Menace. He was protecting that armor.
I'll tell you what, Atticus. You take the pictures, I'll make up the headlines, okay? All right? That okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Goody.
Like a job, sir.
No jobs. Freelance. Best thing in the world for a kid your age. You bring me some more shots of that newspaper-selling clown, maybe I'll take him off your hands.
Mr. Jameson, Spider-Man.
Hoffman?
Yeah?
Call the patent office, copyright the name Green Goblin. I want a corner every time somebody says it.
How about green meanie?
Meanwhile, Norman Osborn is experimenting with some cool shit because,
I'm something of a scientist myself.
and gets screwed over by a bunch of big executives.
Dr. Osborn, I'm going to be frank with you. I never supported your program. And if your so-called performance enhancers have not had a successful human trial by that date, I'm going to pull your funding. I'm going to give it to them.
So he takes some experimental gas.
Dr. Osborn, please. The performance enhancers aren't ready.
Don't be a coward. Sometimes you gotta do things yourself. 40,000 years of evolution and we barely even tapped the vastness of human potential. It's cold.
Norman!
Back to formula.
Norman becomes the Green Goblin and proceeds to give the hammiest performance in William Dafoe's entire career. I mean, just look at this motherfucker.
But you can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?
Dead.
Yes.
And then grant his wish.
But how?
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind.
Tell me how!
Nobody knows who made Green Goblin that sick mask, because I'm pretty sure the people who developed the suit didn't make it. And he just magically has it when he starts using his glider and bombs. That aside, he totally gets a pentakill on all these motherfuckers on this balcony.
Spooky, scary skeleton.
Goblin does something I rarely see supervillains do in any kind of superhero medium, where instead of trying to kill Spider-Man at first, he gives a shot in convincing Spider-Man to work together to take over New York.
You're an amazing creature, Spider-Man. You and I are not so different.
I'm not like you. You're a murderer.
Well, to each his own. We're exceptional. I could squash you like a bug right now, but I'm offering you a choice. Join me. Imagine what we could accomplish together. Think about it, hero!
Man, I wish more villains would actually try to, convince heroes to try and, be the bad guy. Kind of like, come to the dark side, Luke. At this point in the film, the public opinion of Spider-Man is, pretty iffy. And Goblin delivers a very profound and deep line.
In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you.
Wow, I don't really know if this is stretch, but this line reminds me of that one line everyone knows from The Dark Knight.
Why so serious?
No, the other one.
This is what happens when an unstoppable force.
God, no, the other character.
Then you have
No, wrong fucking movie.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There we go. That's the line. Everyone knows that line. Spider-Man says, "Get thee hence, Satan," and Norman figures out that he's Peter Parker. Oh no! I wonder if he heard his voice. And then at the dinner scene, he also heard voice, and he sure sounds like that Spider guy.
How did you say that happened?
Bike messenger. Knock me down.
Norman then proceeds to put Aunt May in the hospital.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us.
I just love this shit where he just says,
Finish it! Finish it!
Evil!
Spider-Man must now defeat his most dangerous enemy as Green Boy proceeds to kidnap MJ and dangle a bunch of kids onto the trolley.
Let die the woman you love, or suffer the little children.
Wait, what? Why are there a bunch of kids at night on a trolley? Is this like a nighttime field trip? You kids shouldn't be out this late. Go back home to your abusive alcoholic dad. I'm just fucking kidding. But don't worry, Spider-Man is the hero in this movie, so he lets those fucking kids die so he can fuck MJ. No, he saves everyone because this convenient boat just happens to be like, come on, drop the boat. And he's like, yeah, drop the boat. Now he's off to go fight the final battle against the mean green goblin man. At first, Gobbledygook has Spoods on the ropes.
Had you not been so selfish, your little girlfriend's death would have been quick and painless. But now that you've really pissed me off, I'm gonna finish her nice and slow.
But after the clutch play in the second round with a f***ing brick wall, Norman gets desperate and tries to convince Peter not to kill him.
Peter, stop! It's me.
Mr. Osborn.
Tried to stop it. I couldn't stop it. I would never hurt you.
I've been like a father to you.
Be a son to me now.
I have a father. His name was Ben Parker.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
What, do for dough? You never see it coming.
Oh.
Wow, I guess you didn't see that coming. I'm sorry, that's a cold joke. Now let's stop for a minute and rewind before we hear Norman's last words. On the surface, the reason he did all those bad things is because he was under the influence of the super gas and selfishly tried to hold on to everything that was about to be taken to him by murdering people.
Oh my god.
But another reason I thought why he became the villain is that he deeply loves his son Harry, even though he has a bad way of expressing it.
A word to the not-so-wise about your little girlfriend. Do what you need to with her, then broom her fast.
He also sees Peter as his own son and didn't want to hurt him until his hand was pushed.
Spider-Man is all but invincible. But Parker, we can destroy him.
I can't.
And fearing that he couldn't provide for them because everything was about to be taken away,
The board expects your resignation in 30 days.
But you can't do this to me.
I started this company. You know how much I sacrificed?
turned him into the Green Goblin. That's just one way how I interpret it. I mean, he is probably just a bad dad and doesn't actually care about Harry, but having this deep little personal conflict inside of him makes him feel more compelling as a villain, in my opinion. That's one way how I could have dissected this movie, because Green Goblin has his motivations for why he did those things, and it's pretty compelling if you think about it that way.
I'm proud of you. And I've lost sight of that somewhere, but I'm going to make it up to you, Harry. I'm going to rectify certain inequities.
In an earlier scene in the film, Peter meets MJ taking a break from her diner job. She's trying to provide for herself while pursuing her dream to become an actress, and not wanting to be given handouts by Harry, who she was dating at this point.
Hey, fine. Will you call me in the morning and we'll go and have breakfast and I want to buy you something. Because I want to. It'll make you feel better.
And says to Peter,
Don't tell Harry.
Don't tell Harry.
Now let's fast forward back to Norman dying. His last words to Peter are,
Peter, don't tell Harry.
While Norm was not a very good dad to Harry in his life, he at least wanted to try to hide this very dark secret from his son that he, killed a bunch of people, even in his death. Harry always wanted to be appreciated by his dad, which is the conflict in his story arc through the movie. And keeping all of these secrets from him just makes him feel like he's drifting away from the people he cares about. Now that his dad is gone and not gaining the love he wanted, he may just commit the sins of the father.
One day Spider-Man will pay. I swear on my father's grave, Spider-Man will pay.
MJ comes to comfort Peter at Norman's funeral and also Uncle Ben's gravestone.
The truth is, I love you. Oh, I love you so much, Peter.
But Peter rejects MJ to protect her, as he's only a simp for his spandex. But at least MJ got a clue to how familiar those lips are. Ooh. Also, on another note, while they're dangling on that bridge scene, MJ clearly hears Spider-Man's voice, and she's thinking, this voice sure does sound familiar.
Listen! I need you to climb down!
I can't!
Yes, you can!
I don't know, it's kind of a weird plot hole I found, but fuck it, whatever. Spider-Man is a well-placed film that has a lot of pieces that just fall together in such a great way that would set up a superhero formula that would be essential in establishing the highest growing film franchise nearly 6 years later, and would be considered one of the most influential superhero films next to its sequel. While the CG effects are pretty dated, there's also some weird editing choices. This is actually apparently Sam Raimi's style, so maybe it's just dated, but I mean, he does what he wants. And some of the acting is pretty questionable.
Some kind of freaky little something wackadoo.
It's Spider-Man!
You mess with Spidey, you mess with New York!
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!
This is a great cinematic introduction to one of the most relatable superheroes ever created. I'll be taking a look at the other two Raimi films in future videos, but until then, keep those webs in your pants.
You know what? I need to be the superhero everyone loves again. I need to get back in shape. I need to become Spider-Man.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is my first movie type video. I hope to do more in the future. Let me know any suggestions you have down in the comments, and see what and also critique me, see what I did wrong, see what I did right, and all that good stuff. And until then, keep it rad. Ooh, I'm done. Holy shit, I'm done. Ah!